So I don't work too far from here, and typically it's very quiet. It's an industrial area, and you don't see that many people. Well, a few years back, I was driving around, and there was hundreds of people walking around on the streets. I had to, was curious to find out what it was, and I asked the police officer. He said that they had evacuated people along the coast, brought them up here because of Hurricane Gustav. All of the evacuees had to wear bracelets to be able to gain access to and from this facility, which was locked down very securely in the evenings. So we've already seen this building be used for these types of purposes in the past. This is the Lucent building in western Oklahoma City. You can see that it's a massive building. There's plenty of open warehouse space. It's almost completely surrounded by barbed wire fence that's facing inward. You could tell that it would only take a few guards in a few strategic locations to really lock the place down. This is right beside the railroad tracks here in the back. It's a huge parking lot area where thousands of people could be staged to be loaded into rail cars and transported to other locations. The warehouse space inside could be used to house people. So this huge parking lot here, you could see where thousands of people could be staged all at once, and then to be loaded onto the rail cars that could be pulled up just a few feet away at the railroad tracks. Anybody that would be trying to escape, again, the barbed wire is facing in. A few guards in strategic points, and no one would be able to leave.
Do you want to try and do your...
For decades, people have talked about FEMA detention facilities. But it's always been, a point of contention on how people would be able to be rounded up in these, because everyone assumes that there would be mass resistance to it. Well, now we're starting to see scenarios where people would actually demand that their friends and neighbors be rounded up in case of a pandemic, or be it true or false. At least the impression of a pandemic would be enough to initiate that type of behavior. This is behind me is the Lucent building. It's an enormous facility, a huge open warehouse space where previously evacuees from Hurricane Gustav have been housed. It's a large open parking lot areas here with secure fence all around, barbed wire facing in, and a railroad tracks just a few feet away. So Andrew Griffin from Oklahoma's own RedDirtReport.com went looking for answers from the Oklahoma State Department of Health. He talked to Larry Weatherford, and when asked what type of alternate facilities that the state may use for quarantine, Larry Weatherford stated the old Lucent Technologies building in western Oklahoma City. Well, behind me is the Lucent Technologies building. It's a huge warehouse, full of open space. The outside perimeter is almost totally surrounded by barbed wire fence that's facing in. Large parking lots where people could be housed or rounded up for. Further investigation into the documents found that there were bids for transport of vaccines to and from this building right here. That's from the Oklahoma State Department of Health. So when the Gustav evacuees were brought in, that was under FEMA. The vaccines being transported to and from this facility, that's through the Oklahoma State Department of Health. So we're seeing all this coordination through these various agencies in this building that meets the description of what people are calling the FEMA detention facilities.